more. Wow, that was something. I can't believe that at the beginning of this year, and even before, I wrote down on my bucket list that I needed to go to this premiere, and it happened. I mean, sometimes when you reach for the sky, you can go to infinity and beyond. And I know it's just a little premiere. It's nothing crazy, but to me it was something really special because I've been growing up with these movies. The second one was, and still is, my favorite movie of all time, and it's the first Toy Story movie I watched. I'd watch it on repeat. I'd put on the VHS, the movie would end, and I'd rewind it and watch it again. I've seen it more than any other movie, that's for sure. And I watched all three leading up to this one, and man, was it just an emotional experience. Very akin to watching Toy Story 3 in the theaters, even though I was 12 when I saw Toy Story 3 in the theaters. I actually went on a birthday party. It was my birthday, and I took all my friends to see it. And, well, my parents took all my friends. I mean, come on, I wasn't able to drive yet. And the movie starts with the Disney logo, obviously. Spoiler alert! And instead of the Disney theme song, they play like Randy Newman's score, and immediately I start tearing up. And then we go into the first scene, and I'm already crying. Like, tears are streaming down my face. And at the very end of the movie, it was the exact same thing. Tears streaming down my face. Now, I didn't bawl, like I wasn't like a loud crier like I was in Toy Story 3, but it was definitely very emotional. And a lot of that has to do with loving the characters and the nostalgic factor. So I would say, even if you're a kid, you gotta see the first three to fully appreciate this movie. But it is very unique. It feels like a completely new movie, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to copy the other films. It's got the emotion, it's got the messages, it's got the beautiful, stunning animation that you can come to expect when you're going to see a Pixar film. But I will say, you go in with a certain set of expectations, and especially if you like certain characters, you want to see a lot of those characters. Well, it might be a little bit of a letdown if you're expecting a big role for Buzz, if you're expecting a big role for Jessie, and then even the Potato Heads. Okay, so obviously Don Rickles passed away 2 years ago, unfortunately. We were all dreading that day. But it was really exciting when they said that they would, you know, go back to archived footage from previous films, go to use different takes. They have 2 TV specials, they have 3 shorts, they have so much material. He did a lot of commercials too, as Mr. Potato Head, theme park stuff, a lot of new phrases that they could put in this movie. And they said that they wanted to craft a performance through all that footage. Well, that's kind of overselling it because he's got like 4 lines in the entire movie. One of them is, hello. One of them is, hey, watch it, buddy, which is another take from him saying, hey, watch it in the first movie. Then he said, have you seen my ear? And that was in the third movie, so they reused that line. And then there might have been one other line that he says, like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then even Mrs. Potato Head, I don't even remember her speaking at all. I think she might actually have less lines than Mr. Potato Head, and her actress is still alive. So what's going on? I mean, Estelle Harris is 91, okay? She's getting up there, and she wasn't at the California premiere, so I'm having the feeling that she didn't even record anything for this movie. I mean, she's credited, of course, but I don't remember her saying anything, and even in the final climax, she has a big role. Her character has a big role, and she's not saying anything. Every time she's on screen, her character is silent. I was like, the Mrs. Potato Head I know would be screaming her head off through this entire time. She'd be like, I can't believe this is happening! And she's not saying anything. So I'm like, okay, something is weird there. I don't know if she didn't record anything. This movie does focus a lot on the new characters, so you gotta really like the new characters. And they're awesome. They're really great characters, and the messages and themes that are in this movie are really great and poignant. Which I'm glad about. I'm glad it's just not another adventure. It definitely does stand on its own and has something to say, which is what I love about all the Toy Story movies. 2 and 3 really goes deep dive into like emotional stuff, and this movie carries that tradition. Randy Newman is the composer of this movie once again. Okay, a lot of this movie, like I would say 85% of the musical score are old themes from other movies. I think they just he's like, okay, for this scene, I want to use this music sheet, and this scene I want to use this. Because they brought back so many tracks, which is, it was great, but again, I was wondering, maybe he's too old to fully compose a film. He does sing, though, in this movie, a new song, so that was cool. His compositions are just so brilliant, so it was nice to hear the old ones again. They even bring back the theme of when Woody teams up with all of Sid's toys in the first movie. We get to hear that again, which I thought was pretty interesting, and then some of the other classics we hear again. It was sad that Buzz and Jessie didn't have a big role, but I think it does set up the opportunity for them to be the leads of a future Toy Story film. I definitely think that's where it'll go. I think Buzz and Jessie will take center stage, and really you'll get to see their relationship. The laughs were there. It's definitely the funniest one out of the franchise. The creativity is still running high in this franchise, and this movie proved that there's still more juice to go. It really touches upon what happens after Happily Ever After, because 3 really felt like Happily Ever After, but this is like the reality of it. Like, yo, Happily Ever After is not a real thing. Not everyone's gonna be happy in their position, and sometimes things need to change. And I think they touched upon that beautifully, and they did just a great job. So hats off to everyone who was involved with this movie. Really want to see the movie again. I don't think it's quite on par with the first 3 movies, but that could change when I see it again. Because I went into this movie with sky-high expectations, but I think the people that go in with normal expectations and maybe aren't even expecting much are gonna be so pleasantly surprised that the animation is just, it's doubled. I can't believe that every time. Pixar's the only studio that every time the animation quality is gonna be doubled. The rain scene at the beginning is stunning. RC, that guy right there, he looks real. But overall, that's just my quick thoughts for now. Overall, I couldn't believe that I was sitting down watching another Toy Story movie, and that's part of why it was so emotional. Also, Tony Hale is a really nice guy. Okay, comment down below, are you excited to see Toy Story 4 when it opens in theaters next week? I'm mega cool, and now you are too. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Smash that like button if you did. I got more videos up here for you to enjoy. Also subscribe so that you don't miss what's next. I'm mega cool, and now you are too.